Mr. Anderson.
Well, I'm originally from this area. My parents, Devon and Geraldine Anderson, came here in 1950, and my father taught school in Declo and then at Murtaugh, and he coached. I was very fortunate to have such wonderful parents. I went to school at Murtaugh, graduated in 1973, went to CSI in the automotive program, and I came to Burley to work. It was in 1974, I guess, and I worked at Front Motor Company until they closed in 1979. And at that time, I went into business for myself, and I've been in business for myself since I was 24 years old. I've run an automotive repair business. Currently, I've always had a love for vintage type cars, and I restore cars for a living now. We have cars that have been in magazines. We have cars that have been invited to special invited shows, and we've won lots of awards. And I got involved in the Burley politics probably about 10 years ago. I kept hearing things that were going on down at City Hall and at the City Council meetings, and I thought I better see what was happening because nobody was going. And I always thought it's really easy to make decisions when nobody else is there. But if you've got an audience, you've got to think about what you're doing and maybe make a difference on how you would approach a problem. And after that, I've been going for about 10 years. About 4 years ago, I thought about running for city council, but I counseled with a friend of mine in Twin Falls who's been involved in Twin Falls city government. He said, you know, it might not be the best thing to just jump right into this. The best thing you could do would be to get on like planning and zoning, some involvement like that, and that way you kind of get familiar with the goings on and decide if that's really what you want to do. So there was an opening on planning and zoning, and I was appointed to it, and I've been on planning and zoning for about 4 years. I've enjoyed it. It's probably not as much in the public eye as city council, but pretty important decisions get made. I've also was on the GEM team, which was when Burley, in order to get GEM certified, we had to go through a program with some state officials, and when we got finished with the program, we had to actually plan a project. We didn't actually have to do it, but we had to do a plan and have it laid out so we could execute it. But we actually executed the plan. We built Centennial Park. After that time, we called it the Burley Action, or Burley Area Action Team, and I've been involved with that since then, not so much the last couple of years. But anyway, I think I can bring something to the table that nobody else here can, because I have a whole different background than everybody else. I have a business background. I've been in business for 30 years, so I think that I can bring that expertise to the table. I'm also a lifelong resident, so I have a vested interest in the way the city runs. I also feel that I would like to serve the citizens. My kids have gone to school here, and I feel like it's time to give back and maybe make things better for the rest of the people. Let them have some of the opportunities that I've had. thank you for inviting me, and appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Mr. Dean, can you introduce yourself?
First, I'd like to thank the library for hosting the forum. My name is Donald Dean. In February, I'll have been in Burley for 14 years. I came up here to build a plant out south of town for a friend of mine. When that was done and sold, I actually lived in Boise for a couple of years, but I met my now wife here in Burley. Her name's Tommy. She can't be here tonight. She has some personal family issues. I spent 35 years in the chemical industry designing, engineering, building, and operating chemical plants all over the United States. 10 years of that I was Vice President of Operations, and the last 6 years I was CEO of a company that had $90 million in sales and 475 employees scattered over 16 locations. In 2002, I went on the Economic Development Commission, and that was when Burley was getting ready to pass a sewer bond for a plant bigger than what was required by law. And I went door to door as part of that group. Excuse me, hay fever's bothering me. Trying to get out to vote for that plant. Took a 2/3 majority. We got nearly 80%, and that made me realize that this community is a very progressive community, and when they know the facts, they do the right thing. And that got me interested in the city council. In 2004, I ran for the council. I had to resign from the executive board of the Economic Development Commission, but I went on the auxiliary board, and I'm still on the auxiliary board. And when I was on the city council was actively involved in recruiting businesses to this area. And it started 10 years ago. They put in an urban renewal district. They started the plans for the sewer plant. They got all the infrastructure in place, and a lot of good things have happened to the city of Burley. I feel like the last 2 or 3 years, maybe we've lost our focus a little bit. Attracting business is all about infrastructure. We've got 2 sewer plants, an industrial plant, domestic plant. We're the envy of the state when it comes to the amount of water we got. Our water's all arsenic free. We just got a lot of things going for this community. We were on our way to getting an airport. I think that's another thing that needs to be done. A lot of people don't understand that, but like Dot Foods, that was one of their primary concerns when they came, and we were 5 years into a program of getting them moved. It's one of the reasons they came. They can leave there at company headquarters, and they can be out here in 2 hours. Now they have to land in Twin, and it takes them 1 hour and 10 minutes to get back over here. But an airport's primarily all financed by the federal government. The amount of money that Burley has to put up is 2.5%. But Burley is one of the very few cities in the United States that owns the land that airport's on, and that land can be sold to finance our part of moving the airport. And the other thing is there's a couple hundred acres there, and depending on what you build, you could have a couple $100 million worth of taxable revenue coming in off that airport. We can have an airport out in the county on land that's not near as valuable. That's an ideal site for. But anyway, I'm happy to be here, and I'm glad to see a good crowd. And that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Dean.